Actually, we've been getting a lot of complaint emails from customers lately. It's about the service of one of our male staff members. Do you have any idea who it could be? I think it's Will. We've had several customers mention his poor attitude. Plus, he still hasn't fully learned the job and keeps making mistakes. I think his age might be a factor. I see. I'm sorry, but we can't keep employing someone like that. We'll have to let him go. As for me, even though I thought I could still work after retirement, it might be time for me to step back. I understand. Thank you for everything up to now. I appreciate it. The next day, Mary contacted me. Will, there's a big problem. None of our regular customers are coming in. Both Daniel and the manager are freaking out, asking what's going on. What? Why is this happening? What could have caused it? My name is Will Wilson, 66 years old. I retired from my job and now live with my wife. Our children have moved out, and we have 3 grandchildren. Before retiring, I worked as a salesman for a housing manufacturer. In my youth, I was so dedicated to my job that I often topped the sales charts, leaving child care and household duties to my wife, Lisa. Now I want to spend time with her and give back for those years by helping out around the house and enjoying our shared hobby, golf. But still, I feel like something is missing every day. After dedicating decades of my life to work, the thought of not having a job anymore made me want to keep working. One day I confessed this to my wife. She immediately agreed with my desire to work. That's great. Why don't you give it another try? I love seeing you work hard, Will, she said with a smile. Thank you. All right, I'll give it another shot. From that day on, I started looking for a job. I was worried if anyone would hire me at this age, if I could still handle a job. But I soon found a place that was willing to hire me. It's a small cafe with 2 locations. They take pride in making coffee with a siphon, and it's well regarded. The cakes are popular too, and my wife is a fan of the place. With my sales experience, I thought I might be able to handle a customer service job. I'm not much for sweets, but I love coffee and am passionate about it. I wanted to give it a try. When I told my wife that I got the job, she was as happy as if it had happened to her. That's great. As expected, being a cafe worker sounds exciting. You get to wear a cool uniform. Hey, you're not the one working. You seem more excited than I am. With such conversations, we excitedly embarked on our new life despite our age. On my first day of work, I was nervous as I arrived at the cafe. I hadn't been this nervous since I was a new employee. I felt a bit happy, realizing I still had such fresh feelings within me. I walked into the cafe and approached a girl who seemed to be a part-timer. Excuse me, my name is Will, and I'm starting work here today. Oh, Will, I've heard about you. I'm Mary Williams, a part-timer. Nice to meet you. I'll show you to the office. Please follow me. She was cheerful and pleasant. Seeing Mary's bright smile eased my nervousness a bit. Following Mary, I was led to a small office. The desk was cluttered with a computer, files, documents, and half-finished bottled drinks. There's a time clock by the entrance, so please punch in when you arrive, then change into your uniform in the locker room. The manager will be here shortly, so please have a seat and wait. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Mary smiled warmly as she said this, making me like her even more. Before long, the manager came into the office. Good morning, Will. I look forward to working with you from today. I quickly stood up and greeted him. Good morning. I look forward to working with you too. I have administrative work to do, so I'll mostly be here. Mary, our part-timer, will teach you about the floor. Also, Daniel, who will be here soon, is the team leader for the floor, so you can ask him anything. Understood. Well, then, please head to the floor and do your best. With that, I turned to the floor, still feeling nervous, and greeted the part-timers on duty. Mary said I should start by learning the menu, so she began explaining each item to me. As she was teaching me, a man approached us, saying in a weary tone, Hey there, Daniel. Good job. This is Will, who starts working today. Mary introduced me. It seemed he was the employee the manager had mentioned earlier. Nice to meet you. I'm Will. I look forward to working with you. Daniel immediately made a puzzled face upon seeing me. Hi, what? You hired an old man like this? How is an old guy like him supposed to be useful? Give me a break. I was stunned by his first words, completely ignoring my greeting. How rude. Oh, come on. He's just learning the menu right now. He'll be fine once he gets the hang of it. Mary cheerfully deflected. Her kindness was a great relief to me. I'll do my best to learn the job, so please bear with me. I smiled again. You'll probably just forget everything anyway. Don't cause us any trouble. This isn't a retirement home. With that, Daniel disappeared into the office. Please don't mind him. Daniel can be quite sarcastic sometimes, Mary said with an awkward smile. I see. Let's do our best together. Thank you, Mary. After learning about the menu for a while, I received a lecture on how to make coffee using a siphon. This was quite challenging, and no matter how many times I tried, I couldn't get the hang of it and make good coffee. However, it's the signature item here, and I need to master it. Sensing my anxiety, Mary reassured me. It's okay, everyone makes mistakes at first. Thank you, I guess I need a lot of practice, I responded with a wry smile. Just then, Daniel approached with a sneer. Hey, old man, how bad are you at this? We need you to learn quickly. There's no time for practice. Okay, but I also made a lot of mistakes at first. You'll get it with time, Mary said kindly. Daniel, however, wasn't interested. Stop whining and make a decent cup of coffee, or you're fired. I didn't want to hire an old man in the first place. You were useless. Daniel clearly couldn't stand that I was older. There's nothing I could do about my age, but I have my pride. I wouldn't let a young punk like him make a fool of me. I resolved to learn the job as quickly as possible and prove him wrong. With that determination, I was motivated to succeed. While I was practicing, the manager called me into the office. We'll take lunch breaks in shifts. Will, you go ahead and have lunch first. Got it? As I sat down in the office chair and took a breath, a wave of fatigue hit me. I hadn't noticed while working, but my legs were quite tired. Standing all day is tough. No, I can't complain on the first day. Mary is doing her best to teach me, so I need to do my best too. I told myself this as I started eating the lunch my wife had made. The familiar taste soothed both my hungry stomach and my nervous heart. After the break, I continued practicing making coffee in the afternoon. Thus ended my long first day as a part-timer. When I got home, my wife greeted me with a worried look. How was your part-time job? Are you okay? Yeah, I managed to get through it, but standing all day was tough. On my days off, I need to practice golf to build up my stamina. Yes, I'll join you, my wife smiled. 3 months have passed since I started the part-time job, and I have gotten used to the work. I can now make coffee well enough to serve to customers. Most of our customers are regulars, and I've started to remember their faces, names, and usual orders. Many regulars sit at the counter, and while making coffee with the siphon, I often chat with them. Having worked in sales, I felt confident in my ability to communicate with customers. We get a variety of customers, from seniors to office workers, homemakers, and students during lunch. Talking with customers is one of the most enjoyable parts of the job. The customers have started calling me Will or Old Will affectionately and even share their concerns with me. One day, I was in charge of a new customer's table and accidentally brought the wrong order. Excuse me, but this isn't what I ordered. I'm terribly sorry. I'll remake it right away. Please wait a moment, I said as I hurriedly took back the mistaken order. Daniel was waiting for me with a furious look. Hey, old man, what are you doing? Are you losing it? As punishment, you'll handle the entire floor by yourself. And if you make another mistake, you're fired. I'll tell the manager that your mistakes are causing trouble for everyone. Got it? That day, it happened to be just Daniel and me on shift, as all the other part-timers were off. True to his word, Daniel spent the whole time hiding in a corner, playing on his phone, and not working. He'd only pretended to work when the manager occasionally came onto the floor. I was furious. Everyone makes a mistake now and then. Why did I have to be treated like this? Determined not to make any more mistakes, I worked diligently and courteously with the customers. I managed to get through the day without any errors. At closing time, I went to talk to Daniel. I finished everything without any issues. May I leave for the day? I'll let you off this time, but there won't be a next time, Daniel replied smugly. Who does he think he is, acting all high and mighty when he's not even the manager? I grumbled to myself as I headed home. From then on, whenever it was just the two of us, Daniel would find excuses to shirk his duties and push all the work onto me. You should be grateful to be allowed to work at your age. If you don't stay active, your mind will get dull. That's why I'm giving you work. You should be thanking me. Even though the cafe had few seats and was relatively quiet, handling the lunch rush alone was tough. Being burdened with work, constantly insulted, and feeling both physically and mentally exhausted from stress, my days grew increasingly difficult. I thought about talking to the manager, but my pride wouldn't let me admit defeat to a younger employee. Will, you seem really tired lately. You don't have much of an appetite. Are you pushing yourself too hard at a part-time job? Don't overdo it. Your health is more important, my wife said one evening. I'm fine, don't worry, I replied, trying to act as cheerful as possible. I didn't want her to worry. One morning, as soon as I arrived at work, the manager called me over. Will, Daniel, I need to talk to you both. Yes, what is it? Recently, we've been receiving a lot of complaint emails from customers. It's about the service of one of our male staff members. Do you have any idea who it could be? Before I could say anything, Daniel spoke up. I think it's Will. I've heard several customers complain about his attitude. I couldn't believe my ears. This was the first time I had heard of such a thing. On top of that, he still hasn't learned the job and keeps making mistakes. We've given him repeated warnings and instructions, but there's no improvement. I think his age is a significant factor. I couldn't believe what Daniel was saying. Every day at the counter, I enjoyed conversations with regulars and tried to be polite to all other customers. Why was this happening? The only time I made a mistake was that one incident. I see. I'm sorry, but we can't keep employing someone like that. We will have to leave today. I wanted to argue with the manager, but I held back. I thought I was doing a good job, but maybe it was just my arrogance. Even after retiring, I believed I could still work, but maybe it's time to retire for good. My confidence quickly faded, and I couldn't say anything. I understand. Thank you for everything up to now. I packed my belongings from the locker and went to say goodbye to the part-timers. After finishing the necessary tasks, I punched my time card for the last time and left the cafe. On my way home, I felt like all hope in life had been taken from me, and tears welled up in my eyes. When I got home, my wife was surprised to see me back so early and came to the door to greet me. What happened? Did you leave early? Are you feeling sick? I quit. I couldn't bring myself to say I got fired, but knowing my perceptive wife, she might have figured it out. However, her words took me by surprise. Thank you for quitting the part-time job. What? I was so worried about how exhausted you look lately. I didn't want you to work so hard anymore. Let's take it easy and enjoy our time together from now on. Yeah, thank you, I said, but it felt like there was a big hole in my heart. The next day, I got a message from Mary on my phone. Will, there's a big problem. None of our regular customers are coming in. Daniel and the manager are freaking out, asking what's going on. What? Why is this happening? What could have caused it? Yesterday we posted your farewell message on the staff blog, right? I think everyone read it and decided not to come. Some customers commented that they didn't want to go if you weren't there. I think that's why nobody is coming." "I see, and it seems like the owner is coming to the store soon. It's unusual, so I'm wondering what's going on. The manager and Daniel are panicking because no customers are coming, and now the owner is showing up out of the blue. Will, can I contact you again if something else happens?" "Sure, I understand. It sounds tough, but hang in there. Thank you. I'm sorry to bother you after you've already quit. I just feel so overwhelmed." "It's okay. You can reach out any time." Hearing Mary's story made me uneasy. What should I do about the regulars not coming? But there's nothing I can do now. A few hours later, the manager called me. "Hello, Will. Sorry to bother you on your day off. Is this a good time to talk?" "Yes, it's fine." "I'm very sorry, but could you possibly come to the store now?" "What's going on? Did something happen?" "I'd prefer to discuss it in person if that's okay." "All right, I'll head over now. I had no idea what was going on, but considering what Mary had told me, I decided to go." When I arrived, I ran into the owner, Mo, at the entrance. "Will, it's been a while. I just got here myself. I'm the one who called you. Sorry for the sudden request. Let's talk in the office." When we entered the office, the manager and Daniel were already sitting and waiting. "Owner, thank you for coming." They stood up and said, "Hello, everyone. Please sit. I gathered you here today because I received a call from a regular customer. They asked me why Will left and said they saw his farewell on the blog and decided to stop coming. I was shocked as I didn't know about it, so I came to find out what happened. What's going on?" "Well, we've received many complaints about Will's customer service. On top of that, he kept making mistakes, so we asked him to leave." "You fools. Did you investigate properly?" "Will was a top salesman. Someone like him wouldn't provide poor service, and he's a friend of mine. I know his character better than anyone. He's not the type to get complaints." "Is that so? I thought the owner just interviewed and hired him like usual." "The truth is, I got the job at the cave thanks to the owner. I met Mo at the golf range my wife and I go to. Mo and his wife also go there, and we became friends, often going out for meals together as a foursome. One day I casually mentioned to Mo that I wanted to work again, and he suggested I try working at his cave. But Daniel, who is in charge of the floor, reported that no matter how many times he coached Will, his customer service never improved." The manager hung his head, his voice growing quieter. Hearing this, the owner glared fiercely at Daniel. "What is this about, Daniel?" "Well, Daniel stammered, unable to speak coherently. "Enough. Bring one of the part-timers here." "Right now, I want to hear the truth. Hurry up." "Yes, understood." The manager hurriedly went out to the floor and returned with Mary. "Excuse me." "Hello." Mary entered the office nervously, looking very anxious. "Oh, Mary, sorry to trouble you while you're busy. I have a few questions. Please take a seat." "Yes, I'm hearing that there have been many complaints about Will's customer service. What do you think about that?" Mary's eyes widened in surprise. "That's absolutely impossible," she answered confidently, a stark contrast to her earlier anxiety. "Will is very popular with our regular customers and always had pleasant conversations at the counter. He was very kind to new customers, too, and we younger staff looked up to him as a role model." "Oh, really? Who do you think the complaints about a male employee were actually about? You can speak honestly. I'll protect you, so don't worry." "Well, I have seen customers scold Daniel for his poor service." "I see. And is it true that Will was not good at his job?" "Absolutely not. Will's coffee was praised as the best by everyone. That's why, with him being so popular for both his personality and his coffee, the customers stopped coming when he left." "I see. Thank you for telling me, Mary. If there's anything else you want to report, feel free to speak up. You can tell me anything." Thank you. Since you said you'd protect me, I'll tell you everything. Daniel often slacked off and pushed all his work onto his part-timers. He also insulted Will, calling him an old man and saying he was useless. What? How could you say that? Mary continued, and Daniel tried to stop her, but I confirmed her words to the owner. What Mary is saying is true. Every day, Daniel would verbally abuse me and dump all the work on me. When it was just the two of us, he even said that old people need to work to avoid getting stale. Didn't you, Daniel? That was meant to be for your own good. He desperately tried to make excuses, but they were weak. Daniel, Will, and I are the same age. Are you saying I'm useless? The owner looked into Daniel's eyes with a sly smile, and Daniel froze, unable to speak. Daniel, not only did you make false reports, but you were also negligent in your duties and verbally abusive to your subordinates. It's clear who really needs to leave, and we also know who this store truly needs. Please wait. Don't fire me. I'm really sorry. I'll apologize. Just please don't fire me. Apologizing isn't enough, Daniel. You fundamentally failed as a person. You lack respect for your elders, you don't value customers, and you have no sense of teamwork with your colleagues. We don't need someone like that in our store. No matter what excuses you make, you're fired. And as for you, manager, you're also responsible. You need to supervise the workplace more closely from now on. Yes, I'm terribly sorry. The manager apologized deeply. Next to him, Daniel looked dejected and close to tears. Now, Will, I have a favor to ask. Could you come back to the store starting tomorrow? We need you here. Mary, the other employees, and most importantly, the customers are all waiting for your return. Please, I really want to work with you again. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd be happy to come back. Hearing my words, Mary beamed with joy. After the meeting, I posted on the staff blog about my return to the store and then headed home. When I got to work, my manager asked me to become a leader. Could you teach the younger staff your customer service techniques and how to make coffee? Of course, I'd be happy to help. As I stood at the counter as usual, familiar faces started coming in one after another. You came back. Please don't quit again. I come here just to drink your coffee, Will. That's right. I come here every day just to have silly chats with you, Will. I rely on you for work advice, Will. I'd be lost without you. Everyone was talking at once, and the counter was filled with laughter. After I got home, I told my wife about the warm welcome from the customers and my promotion to part-time leader. Will, you really are a workaholic, but seeing you so happy at work makes me happy too. I'll keep cheering you on. Just take care of yourself and do your best. Hearing that makes me happy too. Thank you. At one point, I had almost given up hope in life, but now I realize there are people who need me. I want to meet their expectations and keep seeing the smiles of